And, hi to everyone here in-house. I am Loquita Bonita, joined by...
Pinky Crusher, and we're here today at day number 2 of our 2025 No Borders Derby Tournament.
Yeah, we're looking forward to a full day of games. We kind of had a little appetizer last night with 2 games. We are now getting ready for Team Indigenous Rising to take on Team Desi. This will be the first time these 2 teams have appeared in the tournament this weekend. And I will go ahead and hit that roster for Team Indigenous Rising Roller Derby. Wearing 0812 Thor Slammer, 100 Beast Mode, 1217 Dream Crusher, 17 Velez, 21 Latke Ness Monster, 25 Ruthless, number 27 Quake, 28 Ramby, 325 Marzi, 35 Fuzzkill, number 42 Oxytoxin, number 6 Bams, number 7 is Smack Mamba, and 8 TNTini.
All right, and the other team playing tonight, we have Team Desi. And starting off Team Desi, we have number 000 Godzilla Rex, number 013 Dark Angel of Mercy, number 1337 Flora Croft, 150 Amperslam, 16 Azkajam, 1701 Petty Labelle, 173 Allsmite, 199 Whiskey Throttle, 28 Sing, 3404 Nikki Tricky Savvy, 404 Hertz, 4590 Bad Habit Barbie, 700 Spring Roll, 808 Yoga Navisari, 826 Metallica Breath, and 84 Buttercup. That is our Team Desi here going up against Indigenous Rising in this game that is just about to get started. Looks like we have teams grouped up on the benches and referees making their way to their positions around the track here, which means just a few minutes and we will be going today for day number 2 of our No Borders tournament, just about to get started.
Yeah, let's give it a shout out to our officials today. We have Queen of Catitude, Umpire Strikes Back, Doesn't Matter, Millie Dread, Terabyte, Lizard Beth, Rex Blocker, Mala Suerte, 9-Inch Wheels, Doof Warrior, Dillygaff, Genetic, McAllister, Red Miles, Saren Gasp, Caligori, and Kira Duncan. We got it. That's how you say this. This is how you say that. Hey, all right. That is Dark Angel of Mercy, also known as DA, picking up lead there for Team Desi. Fuzzkill with the star for Indigenous Rising after the successful star pass. And very quick jam here to get us going. Looking for those points. Yep, 2 points going up. So starting off here with a 2-0 score after 1.
All right, it looks like we have number 7, Smack Mamba, jamming for Indigenous Rising here. It looks like we have a power jam, Dark Angel of Mercy, in the box here as they enter jam number 2. Looks like the team's trying to coordinate some offensive blocking here to try to get Smack Mamba through the pack, trying to apex jump that inside line is unsuccessful. It cycled back to turn number 1. Smack Mamba reapproaching the pack and the ending of turn number 2 here. Her blockers trying to get her through the pack before that power jam ends. These Desi blockers doing a great job holding Smack Mamba back, though, not letting them get through the pack. And they are through, getting a cut penalty. We now have a power jam in favor of Team Desi. Dark Angel of Mercy, now the only jammer on the track. Going for that outside line in turn number 3 here, but quickly met up by 3 blockers who are holding them back as they try to juke back and forth. Very blocker-heavy jam this time. Neither jammer's getting initial yet, and we are a full minute into the jam. Trying for that outside line of turn 3, gets hit out and cycled back. Unfortunately, Dark Angel of Mercy is back in the back of the pack at the start of the turn. They're reapproaching here, going for the middle this time, slowing down to try to get the right approach, but unfortunately, these blockers are too strong and not letting them make it through the pack here. Looks like we got an attempted star pass here. The star coming off their head and getting passed forward right as Smack Mamba makes it out of the penalty box and immediately back to the penalty box with a multiplayer. Power jam now in favor of Desi once again, but they had a star pass, so Flora Croft is now their jammer and the only jammer on the track here, and finishing their first scoring pass coming out of turn number 4. That is the first 4 points of the jam and first full pass of the game scored by Flora Croft. They're coming around with 1 second left in the jam. It ends before they make it through the pack, and unfortunately not getting any points. That was a 4-point jam, all going to Team Desi, and unfortunately for Indigenous Rising, they will be starting in a power jam in this next jam with Smack Mamba in the box on their second penalty in 1 jam.
All right, so both teams getting set up there on the jam line. Whistle blows and we are off. Spring roll jamming for Team Desi. As Pinky said, Smack Mamba in the penalty box. This is a power start, and Spring roll able to get out very quickly with that lead. Skating around, coming into turns 1 and 2. Indigenous Rising looking to get set up, but have the blockers gotten pretty spread out. Smack Mamba, though, is now back on the track. Made that initial pass through, so coming around looking to score some points, putting that helmet cover back on. And Spring Roll calls it just as Smack Mamba gets to the pack. So a 4-0 jam in favor of Team Desi.
Yes, we are just about 5 minutes into the game, and Indigenous Rising is yet to score any points. Team Desi only has 10, so it's not a very high point game here. But hopefully some of these jammers will be able to pick up points for Indigenous Rising this time, because they have a 2-7, 2-8 on the line. Azka Jam going up against Quake. And Azka Jam getting hit out on that inside line and cycled back. And Azka Jam off to the penalty box. Nope. Okay, sorry. All right, Azka Jam is through the pack on initial about 30 seconds into that jam. A Quake in the penalty box, so they have a power jam this time. We'll see if Team Desi is able to extend their lead on this, only having 1 jammer in the box. They have all of their blockers there working on offense for a minute, and they do get that jammer through the pack right as Quake makes it out of the penalty box. Azka Jam is now coming around on their second scoring pass as Quake comes in to complete their initial. 2 jammers stuck solid, and Azka Jam is off to the penalty box now. Another power jam, this time in favor of Indigenous Rising. They just finished their initial pass, and there's 45 seconds left in the jam, so hopefully they'll be able to pick up their first points in the game in this power jam, and they do, because there is 4 points for Quake, the first 4 points for their team in the game so far. They're quickly coming around to approach the pack in the first turn on their second scoring pass, making it past 2 of those blockers, and there's that 4 points for you, breaking out of turn number 2 there. That is the second scoring pass of the jam for Quake, and they're coming around on their third scoring pass with 14 seconds left in the jam. Can they get another full four points? We are about to see here. They get past one of those blockers, but quickly get caught in turn number 2 between a strong tripod here as Askajam makes it out of the box. And unfortunately, that jam ends before Askajam makes it back onto the track and before Quake makes it through the pack. But they do pick up 3 more points, and that brings our score for that jam to 11 for Team Indigenous Rising and 5 for Team Desi.
And just like that, the score gap has closed significantly, and that's roller derby, folks. Just 4 points, 1 scoring pass separate these 2 teams as we go into jam number 5. Whistle blows, and that's Bad Habit Barbie with the star for Indigenous Rising. Whiskey Throttle for Team Desi. And may I say, Bad Habit Barbie with the most beautiful purple hair skating right now. And Whiskey Throttle getting lead. Barbie with her beautiful purple hair, pushing forward, looking for a way to get out of the pack, and now is out. So coming back around, gonna look to score some points, but Whiskey Throttle also watching where Barbie is. So Whiskey Throttle picks up those points and denies Barbie and her beautiful purple hair from getting any points.
We got Dark Angel and Mercy jamming for Team Desi this time, going up against, that is 28 Ramby. The 2 jammers both go for the outside line on that whistle. Unfortunately, DA gets hit out and cycled back over the jam line, whereas Ramby pushes out the front of that pack, getting through the pack in between turns 1 and 2 and picking up a quick lead for Indigenous Rising. Dark Angel and Mercy getting hit out and cycled back, decides to pull that cover off. Ramby not having the same problem there, very quickly speeds through a very stretched out pack there, picking up 4 points and approaching on their second scoring pass, while Dark Angel still fights through their initial now. Unfortunately, Ramby does not make it through unscathed on this pass, getting hit out and cycled back quite a ways, almost half a track before a no pack is called. We got about 2 blockers on each team in the penalty box right now, so a very light pack for these jammers to face up against, and that shows because Ramby is through the pack again and then calling that jam. That is 8 points for Indigenous Rising, and our score is now tied up. And unfortunately for Team Desi, they will be starting in a power jam because Dark Angel was sent to the box at the very ending of that last jam. In fact, they're going out very short bench in this next jam, with no jammer, no pivot, and down a blocker.
That's right, and we are looking at the ever-elusive tie score. Team Indigenous Rising with a big opportunity here in jam number 7. Smack Mamba on the track with the star for Indigenous Rising and able to hop around there on the outside edge to get that lead. Oh, and a penalty being called on a Team Desi blocker as another blocker came back on the track. So still with 2. Power jam comes to an end as DA returns to the track. Some excellent blocking happening there by Thor's Slammer, just containing DA as Smack Mamba puts up 4 more points. Lots of love from the stream for Smack, who is putting on a show right now. And that is a massive 12-point jam. And you know what that means, fam? We have a lead change. Lead change.
Yes, we are now over 10 minutes into the game, and our current score is Indigenous Rising 31 to Team Desi 23. And it looks like we're going to have number 700 jamming for Team Desi. That's Spring Roll going up against Quake. And man, Spring Roll makes it through the pack on that whistle almost faster than I can introduce them, getting a lead jammer for Team Desi. But Quake is only a quarter track behind them as they both enter their first scoring pass. Spring Roll goes for that inside line. A successful hop has them through the pack unopposed. That is at 4 points to Team Desi. but Quake makes it through very quickly behind them as well. This pack is really moving now in turn number 3 as the two jammers both enter their first scoring pass. Quake makes it almost all the way through the pack, then gets caught and calls that jam, Spring Roll calls that jam before Quake can catch up to them, making that a 4-point to 7-point jam in favor of Desi, widening our score gap to only 5 points now. All right, looks like we have a team timeout called from Team Desi here. Just want to give a moment to give a big thank you to our hospitality partner, Rat City Roller Derby, Seattle's premier flat track roller derby league. Head to Seattle on March 29th to find out which teams advance to the Season 19 championship. And speaking of roller derby that you don't want to miss out on, you do not want to miss the Derby World Cup. That is in Austria this July, in case any of you didn't know, and it's featuring 48 teams, including some of the borderless teams that you're watching right now. And if you can't make it to Austria, which, I mean, I know I can't, the tournament will also be live streamed. You can just check it out at rollerderbyworldcup.com. That's rollerderbyworldcup.com for all the latest information.
Yeah, and hey, fun fact, Momo and I will be there on the announcing team. So if you're a fan watching on the stream, we might get to see you virtually, which will be super duper fun. And we're getting ready now for Jam número 9. Va a empezar. It's just about to begin, and I see Barbie. Bad Habit Barbie with the beautiful purple hair. We're in the star for Team Indigenous Rising, Azka Jam for Team Desi. Azka Jam does get out first, picks up lead. Team Indigenous blockers setting up and ready to catch Azka Jam, and they do, slowing her down, but now out of the pack. So 4 more going up. Azka Jam looking to add to that, and with Bad Habit Barbie sitting in the penalty box, this is a power jam. Power jam. Power jam. Power jam for Team Desi. So score sitting at 35 to 34, just 1 point separate these two teams, and I'm gonna imagine that we are gonna see a change. Yes, definitely has passed at least a couple hips here before getting knocked out. Barbie, though, now out, and through is gonna put on the pressure as it's called off, and I see Azka Jam picked up all 4 points on that jam. Score now 38 to 35. That's another lead change. Another lead change. We have a little over 16 minutes left here in the first half. Super exciting, close game as we get ready for jam number 10.
Yes, and we have Whiskey Throttle and Ramby jamming for their respective teams here on jam number 10 of the game. Both jammers going for that outside line and then juking to the middle at the start of this jam, then going back for the outside line. They're like mirroring each other here, trying to find holes through the pack. Ramby, Whiskey Throttle pushes out to the front of that pack, but then gets hit out and cycled back all the way back to the jam line, but they do get lead jammer while they're at the front of that jam there. Ramby, on the other hand, able to push through that pack and does not get hit out, making it through the pack first, but unfortunately not getting lead jammer status. They are now entering their first scoring pass as Team Desi has a successful star pass. Flora Croft is the new jammer, and we have no lead for this game, so the jam will run the full 2 minutes. The two jammers are now together in the pack on their first scoring pass, but Ramby is making their way out, and Flora Croft not far behind them. The two jammers are about half a track apart as they both enter their second scoring pass. Flora going for that inside line and Ramby going for the outside line. The two jammers are now tied up in the pack here. Less than a minute left in the jam here. It'll probably make it through at least one more time. We'll see here if they do. Ooh, Ramby with some great footwork riding that outside line. Avoids a hit getting out, but does get caught up at the front of the pack. And Flora Croft makes it through the pack, but is off to the penalty box with a cut. We now have a power jam in favor of Team Desi. The only jammer on the track there is now Ramby. And unfortunately, Flora Croft sat down with less than 30 seconds left in the jam, so this next jam will be a power start for Indigenous Rising, who is now entering their third scoring pass here, going for that inside line, trying to pick up points before this jam ends. The pack is over the pivot line and stopped pretty solidly here. These blockers doing a great job holding Ramby back. Several Indigenous Rising blockers off to the box there at the end of that jam, making them short benched, but they do have a power start, so hopefully that'll not impact them too much score-wise in this next jam. That was a very successful jam for Ramby, though. They're picking up 12 points for their team. Team Desi picks up 7 before they get sent to the box.
And yet another lead change. I think that's what, our 4th lead change so far this game. Just 2 points separating the teams. Smack Mamba back out on the track with the star for Indigenous Rising, Flora Croft. For Team Desi. And Flora now back on the track. Indigenous Rising down 2 blockers though. But those 2 blockers did an excellent job slowing Flora down. Smack with some time to get back up and looking to score some points. Ooh, big block there by Hertz. As Flora getting knocked to the outside and recycled back. Flora through, though, puts 4 up. So both teams with 4 points on this jam. Smack rolling through, calls it off, but not before picking up 3 more points to put a little padding on that lead that Team Indigenous Rising currently has. So 54-49 after 11 jams.
Yes, this has been a very close game and very low point game so far, so those are always fun to see. Speaking of fun to see, we have Dark Angel and Mercy going up against Quake here. The 2 jammers are off, our pack hovering more towards the pivot line at the start of this one. Dark Angel pushing for that inside line, they make it out first. That is a lead jammer, sorry, that's Quake there, getting lead jammer for Indigenous Rising. Dark Angel going for that inside line to turn number 2. They make it out right as Quake approaches on their first scoring pass. Ooh, a hard fall on Quake has them hit out and cycled back. They decide to just call that jam there, seeing your Desi jammer moving in. That was 0 points going to either jammer on that one. So our score is still 54-49 at the end of jam number 11.
Shout out to everybody joining us in the chat, watching from around the world. So glad that you're here. We're super excited to have you. And now the jam has begun, and Spring Roll out so quickly, finds just the little bit of space there on that inside lane and able to get through and pick up lead. Bad Habit Barbie wearing the star for Indigenous Rising picks up a penalty, so this is a power jam. Power jam! And Spring Roll on the outside lane did get held up there by Bams, and skater to be named later who's going to the penalty box. Oh, that's Thor's Slammer. But Spring Roll was through, able to get those 4 points. Now looking to get up for some nice blocking there by, I think that was Marzi, but not quite enough to slow down Spring Roll. I mean, if y'all have watched Spring Roll before, you know. Spring Roll can jam on it. Barbie is back on the track, pushing against that Team Desi tripod, going from the inside to the outside as Spring Roll has added 4 more points to that score. She just keeps going and going. We've had a successful star pass, so Marzi now jamming for Team Indigenous Rising, but what in the what? Smokes, y'all. That was a 20-point jam for Spring Roll, and that means, you know it, it's a lead change. change. Late change. Yeah, hey Dakota in the chat. It is in fact me, Loquita Bonita. You can just call me Bonita. And Pinky.
Yes, my name is Pinky. I'm a junior announcer affiliated with the Tomorrowland Derby League.
Isn't Pinky great?
Yes, I'm loving being here. It's very fun. Speaking of having fun here, we got Ramby doing a great job picking up a lead jammer for their team, Indigenous Rising. Coming around to enter on their first scoring pass here. Pack between turns 1 and 2. The two jammers both caught up here for a minute. Struggling to make it through. This pack is moving faster than they can, but Askajam able to keep up with it, making it through the pack and finishing their initial pass here. About 30 seconds into the jam, and unfortunately that jam is called before they make it back to the pack. So that was 2 points for Indigenous Rising and 0 points for Team Desi.
Man, that was a quick jam. I was like, I looked away for a second and it was over. But you know what that means? We get to the next jam. That's jam number 15. Coming up, score 56 to 69 in favor of Team Desi. One skater for Indigenous Rising is in the penalty box. Jamming for Team Desi is All Smite, and Smack Mamba for Team Indigenous Rising. Smack Mamba coming up very quickly on lead jammer All Smite. And Smack Mamba just found like the slightest opening lane, slalomed from the inside to the outside, picked up 4 points while All Smite was calling it off. So a 4-0 jam in favor of Indigenous Rising takes our score 60 to 69. Little under 8 minutes left as we have a team timeout being called.
Yes, they're being called by Indigenous Rising here, probably because they keep closing this point gap more and more. Our current score is 60 to 69, so a very close game so far. Hopefully it'll be this close and exciting for the rest of the game. I want to give a quick thank you to all the love coming in from the chat. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, lots of family from Team Indigenous Rising showing up and showing out with all the shout outs. I see Pachito in there, Smackajawea. Who else did I see? Sonar. I thought I saw Chris. Yep, Chris. And probably other people, but I don't know because I only know you by your derby name, so apologies, but super happy to see all of you in there. Hey, Muffin, announcer friend. Cheryl, Ursa, Eileen, I hope I said that right.
All right, there's our 5 seconds. Our team timeout coming to a close. We have Quake and Whiskey Throttle jamming for their teams this time. Quake getting hit out and cycled back, but they quickly match it with a juke to the outside and manage to actually overtake Whiskey Throttle, who gets the lead jammer there. Whiskey sees that and calls that jam off before either make it back to the pack on their first score and jam, making that a very long 20-second jam with 0 points going to each team. We've had lots of smart call-offs on this game so far, not letting these jams run too long or get too carried away with the points, which is what's helping keep our score so close and neat.
Right, a lot of excellent track awareness and really good communication there on the track, making sure everybody knows what is going on, getting those points where you can and calling it off. Spring Roll wearing the star for Team Desi, Bad Habit Barbie for Team Indigenous Rising. Spring Roll out first, has picked up lead, and Barbie and the beautiful purple hair is going to the penalty box. That means we have a power jam. Power jam! Power jam. That's a power jam for Spring Roll. And she is coming back up, looking to find some space as Team Desi setting up maybe to offer some offense. Let's see. The Team Indigenous Rising blockers were totally ready, so that offense was very much needed and well done. Spring Roll just booping into the pack and then doing a beautiful spin move to the outside and finds the lane open and through for 4. Spring roll back again. Looking to pick up some more points. But Bams along with Fuzzkill and who else? Velez and another blocker to be named later. Really doing a beautiful job of shutting down Spring Roll here in this pass. And it looks like Spring Roll just kind of pausing since Barbie got out of the pack, came around quickly, calls it off before Barbie can get there. 11 points for Team Desi. So now they are starting to pull away a little bit, but 20 points ain't nothing but a number. That can change in the next jam, Pinky. Let's see what happens.
Yes, we have 28. That's Ramby jamming for Indigenous Rising. Going up against Aska Jam, both jammers go for the outside line on that whistle. Aska Jam quickly pushing out to the front of that pack, but gets hit out over the pivot line and cycled back in behind Ramby, who's now fighting up the inside line, pulling that star off their head here. It's probably trying to confuse some of the blockers as they push that pack out almost to its breaking point over the first turn, but unfortunately Aska Jam pushes that pack up next to them, so they do not get a no pack call here. Two jammers are still stuck in this pack right now over turn number 1 here. Ooh, hard hit on the inside line has your Indigenous Rising pivot on the ground and Aska Jam through the pack. That's lead jammer going to Team Desi, but Ramby has made it out only a quarter track behind them. The two jammers are pretty neck and neck as they both enter their first scoring pass here. The pack over turn number 2, a hard fall on that inside line has Aska Jam calling that jam off right away. That was 0 points to Indigenous Rising and 2 points to Team Desi, furthering their lead now to a 22-point lead on Indigenous Rising.
Jam number 19 just about to start. Under 4 minutes left here in this first half. 82-60 is your score. Team Desi pivot in the penalty box, so slight pack advantage to Indigenous Rising, but All Smite don't care at all as they bust through on the outside lane and pick up lead. Smack Mamba, though, doesn't want to be left out, also getting out of the pack very quickly, going to put on that pressure as they go into the second straightaway. All Smite through the pack, looking to call it off. Beautiful hit there to the outside by Ruthless, just taking up all the space right at the call-off. So 2 points picked up by Team Desi, 1 by Indigenous Rising. 84-61 is your score. Just over 3 minutes left in the half.
We have Whiskey Throttle and Fuzzkill jamming this time. We have our 5 seconds and our blockers all move back onto that jam line here, not giving the jammers much time to run up to get some speed. Whiskey Throttle is immediately caught on that inside line and cycled back all the way to turn number 3, whereas Fuzzkill is fighting out the front of the pack here. They are successful and get through those stretched out blockers between turns 1 and 2. That's a lead jammer going to Indigenous Rising. Your Team Desi jammer still fighting here after taking that star off. They are through the pack right as a Fuzzkill hits the pack on their first scoring pass. Fuzzkill makes it through the pack between turns 1 and 2 and calls the jam off. That is 4 full points for Indigenous Rising and 0 points to Team Desi, not able to make it to that scoring pass before that jam was called. Our current score is 65-84 with 2 minutes left in the half. This could be the last jam of the half if it runs the full 2 minutes.
Yeah, let's see what happened. Bad Habit Barbie with the beautiful purple hair is back on the track for Team Indigenous Rising, and Aska Jam for Team Desi. Empty penalty box, and Aska Jam out very quickly, picks up lead. Barbie being shut down by Team Desi's pivot, Flora Croft, I believe. And Oh, a penalty. Penalty for Bad Habit Barbie. So that means we will have a power start in the next jam.
Yes, 173. That's All Smite will be the only jammer on the track here for jam number 22. 58 seconds left in the half currently. This will likely be the last jam. I don't know, I feel like I say that for the last 3 jams of every half, but we'll have to wait and see here. All Smite going for that inside line here, gets hit out and cycled back. Oh, some fast footwork there has them jumping between those blockers. That is lead jammer going to Team Desi. And they coming around on their first scoring pass, approaching the pack over that pivot line, hitting 2 blockers at the back of the pack there, breaks them apart and makes it through. Not only is All Smite a very fast jammer, they also hit very hard, just knocking those blockers over, picking up 4 points. They're now coming around on their second scoring pass as Bad Habit Barbie is released from the box and approaches on their initial pass of the jam. All Smite finally gets caught here, held back behind a blocker over, coming out of turn number 2 here. They're fighting off. They have 1 more blocker to make it past, and they do. That is another 4 full points going to Team Desi here, and they call that jam there. That was 8 points to Team Desi and 0 points to Indigenous Rising, and halftime of our game. Our current score as we enter the intermission is 65 Indigenous Rising to 93 Team Desi. Looks like we might be finally getting a solid lead team here as we get farther into the game. It was very close at first, but Team Desi has been slowly but surely pulling ahead. All right, we have 10 minutes until this second half of the game gets going, so if you're here in-house, don't forget to go check out those merch stands, go check out concessions. Not only do you get cool stuff or yummy stuff, you also support local roller derby. And if you're watching from home on the live stream, shout out to my grandma. Go get yourself some popcorn, or I guess it is kind of early, maybe some tea or something, and come back in 9 minutes to catch the second half of this very fun game.
Hey folks, did you know that your head is not normal? No one's is. If your helmet size is a small, but your teammate's size is an extra large, wearing the same helmet shell doesn't just look kind of funny. The functionality of the EPS foam and how it disperses impact energy is compromised.
The 888 certified Sweat Saver comes in better shell size options than our leading competitor,
giving you the highest level of protection upon impact. Try it for yourself. We've got you covered.
Love's equation are designed. Is it gravity, your heart and mine? All I know is the stars have aligned. I could count the ways you lit up my life, but I wouldn't try. Your science I can't describe. Love unexplainably taking flight like a satellite. Ask me anything you'd like. I could answer every why. Oh, you wake me up like the morning light. Even darkness can't dim your bright eyes. You're the rising sun, the kindest sign that we'll be alright. Your science I can't describe. Love unexplainably taking flight like a satellite. This night, brilliantly simplified. I look at you and my heart takes flight like a satellite. Satellite. And when the skies are rough, the elements too much, our love will hold us up. We're made of titanium. Your science I can't describe. Love unexplainably taking flight like a satellite. This night, brilliantly simplified. I look at you and my heart takes flight like a satellite. Oh, always satellite. Yeah, I look at you and my heart takes flight like a satellite.
All right, guys, we have a minute until the game gets started again, so make sure you're finding way back to your seats to catch the second half of this game. This is the first game in day 2 of our 2025 No Borders Derby tournament, and we have Indigenous Rising in black facing Team Desi in green. And our current scores: Indigenous Rising 65 to Team Desi 93. So we got referees taking position around the track and teams getting ready to head back onto that line to get started for the second half of game number 3.
I think the story of that first half was definitely penalties. We saw a lot of penalties, jammer penalties going against
Yes.
Team Indigenous Rising, and there were certainly a few times during that game where I looked at the penalty box, Pinky, and it was almost full, if not
Yes,
totally full.
we had one jam where we had 3 blockers from each team in the box. So my coach always says that games are won and lost on power jams, so that's definitely been ringing true in this game. We'll just have to see if we're getting any of those power jams in the second half and if they're going to affect the score at all. It looks like we have number 7000. That's a spring roll jamming for Team Desi, going up against Smack Mamba. Oh, spring roll jukes to the outside and then back to the inside again. A quick lead jammer there. Smack Mamba trying to follow them through, but gets caught on that inside line and pulls the star off of their head. Spring roll comes through, juking very quickly there. Oh, takes a fall from an alternate jammer after almost making it through the pack. We got a successful power gem there from Indigenous Rising. Marzi is your new black jammer. And they are just making it out of their first scoring pass as Spring Roll comes around on their second scoring pass. So they're about half a track behind your Team Desi jammer, who is now fighting between turns 3 and 4, successfully makes it through the pack and then calls the jam before your Indigenous Rising jammer can make it back to the pack on their second scoring pass. So that is 8 points to Team Desi and 4 points to Indigenous Rising, and brings Team Desi up into the triple digits threshold. So our current score is now 69 Indigenous Rising to 101 Team Desi. Very fun score there.
Yes, indeed. And there's that whistle. Thanks, Ump. Our jam timer. And Ramby wearing that star for Team Indigenous Rising. Kajam for Team Desi. Ramby out first, does pick up lead. Kajam just being contained at the jam line. Team Indigenous Rising blockers coming out of halftime ready and steady. Ramby pushing forward at the pivot line, looking to score some points here in the second jam of the second half. And there it is, finds space on the inside lane and is through for 4. I'm hearing whistles everywhere and skaters going to the penalty box. So each team with one blocker in the penalty box. Kajam now out of the pack, puts on the pressure. 4 more points are going to go up on the board for Team Indigenous Rising. Scored now 101 to 77. So an 8-point jam, 8-0 jam in favor of Team Indigenous Rising. Just what they need to close that gap.
Yes, it's a very small gap though, less than 30 points, and I've seen singular jams where teams close gaps that big, so this game still could go either direction. We have number 27, Quake, jamming for Indigenous Rising, going up against Allsmite, who is doing a great job here, once again getting lead before I can finish introducing them. But Quake makes it out only half a lap behind them as they both enter their first scoring pass. And Allsmite hits that pack on that inside line between turns 2 and 3, gets a penalty. We now have a power jam in favor of Indigenous Rising. Quake, the only jammer on the track here, going for that inside line of turn 2, is successful. That is the first 4 points of the jam going up to Quake. And Quake comes around on their second scoring pass of the jam, hitting the pack right after turn number 2 here. They're successful thanks to some offensive blocking from their team there. That's another 4 points going to Indigenous Rising. Our point gap just keeps getting narrower here. And Allsmite passes one of those blockers, goes for that inside line successfully. There is another 4 points going to Indigenous Rising. We now have 12 points on the board for them as Allsmite makes it through out of the penalty box and through the pack. They were on their initial pass, so there's the first 4 points of the jam going to them. Looks like Quake's fighting to make it through that pack one more time. They do. There's another 4 points going to Indigenous Rising, but Allsmite hot on their tail now, just finishing their second scoring pass. Quake is only 8 points ahead of Allsmite now, going for their 5th scoring pass as Allsmite comes around for their 3rd. They are through successfully, unopposed. Allsmite taking a couple hits here, slowing them down, but able to make it through the pack, getting up 4 points. 10 seconds left in the jam. Can Quake make it through one more time before the jam ends? They take a fall and they do not make it through before that jam ends. That was a very high point jam there for both teams. 22 points for Indigenous Rising and 12 points for Desi Roller Derby. Very fast game there, very fun. And Indigenous Rising is now at 99 points. They're only 1 point away from 100. That's triple digits. And our point gap has been narrowed to only 13 points now. Our current score 99 to 113.
All right. Bad Habit Barbie with that star for Team Indigenous Rising. Whiskey Throttle for Team Desi. And there it is. Bad Habit Barbie and her beautiful purple hair are out of the pack, picked up lead. Whiskey Throttle got knocked to the outside and skating back. Looking to get out of the pack, Whiskey Throttle has taken off the helmet cover, considering a pass, maybe a stash. Only Whiskey Throttle knows. Time will tell. As Bad Habit Barbie is pushing up against a very determined tripod. Some offensive assistance coming in there from the Team Indigenous Rising blockers. So Barbie able to get through, pick up 4 points, keep Team Desi to 0, so they have broken that century mark. 103, 113, just 10 points. Shout out to everybody watching from around the world. We got Kalamazoo Roller Derby, represent River City in Richmond, Virginia, Cincinnati, Race City Rebels in Indianapolis, Calgary, Sacramento, another River City. Thanks, y'all, for joining us.
Ooh, Spring Roll getting an amazing lead there, running down that inside line. But Smack Mamba, they're taking that star off to fight out a tripod between turns 1 and 2. Oh, they take a fall on that outside line there. Looks like, nope, that was the pivot. Oh, that was the pivot. It was a star pass, that's why. So Marzi is your new Indigenous Rising jammer, coming around on their first scoring pass as Spring Roll gets caught in the pack on their first. They decide to just call that jam there, but they were able to pick up 4 points for their team before they did. So that was 0 points to Team Indigenous Rising and 4 points to Team Desi.
Marzi is Marzipain, and she's ours. Got her. Thank you.
All right, we're about to get rolling again.
Oh, okay, you are who I thought you were. That explains it. Yeah.
It's jam number 5 of the second half. Empty penalty box. Woo woo. Shout out for an empty penalty box. And Ramby just powering through, high stepping there on the inside lane to get out of the pack and pick up lead for Team Indigenous Rising. DA still looking for some space. Shut down just behind the jam line by the team of Ruthless and Bams, who are joined by Thor's Slammer. Star pass to Azkajam. Azkajam getting knocked to the ground, but gets right back up. Looking to get through, but the Indigenous Rising blockers are just tracking beautifully with Azkajam and taking up all the space, really slowing Azkajam down. However, Azkajam is now out of the pack, so that's going to put the pressure on. We'll see what Ramby and Team Indigenous Rising do. Looks like they're going to let Azkajam come on in with 2 blockers in the penalty box, maybe sucking up a little bit of time as Ramby rolls through, going to add 4 points to that score. So a 16-point jam, looks like, for Team Indigenous Rising. 2 points picked up by Team Desi. And what do you know, Pinky? We got just 1 point separating these teams with 20 minutes to go.
Yes, and we have 2 amazing jammers on this jam here. We have Petty LaBelle and Quake. That is All Smite, not Petty LaBelle. But All Smite does make it through that pack first. That's lead jammer going to Team Desi, but Quake is not very far behind them. Oh, beautiful inside line runs. Both jammers make it through unopposed, and that jam is called. That is 4 points going to each team. We got higher scores now, but they are just as close. It's 123 to 124, and only 20 minutes left in the game. This is going to be This is going to be a fun one. Speaking of fun one, we got 199 jamming for Team Desi. That's a Whiskey Throttle. Going up against number 7, that is Smack Mamba.
Yeah, Smack Mamba picking it up the pace here, going into the turn and just pushing, and gets through the pack. Picks up lead. Whiskey Throttle still looking to find some space and get out of the pack. Shout out to Senor Pupu, who is currently in New York and on the chat watching. And I love seeing everybody in the chat giving love to each other. Oh, roller derby's the best, y'all. Smack Mamba picks up 4. Flora Croft is out of the pack, gonna put on the pressure. Smack Mamba calling it off. And let's see, 2 points picked up by both of those skaters on that last path through just before the whistle. So a 6-2 jam in favor of Team Indigenous Rising. That takes the score 129 to 126. In favor of Indigenous Rising, and you know what that means? We have a lead change.
Yes, first lead change since like the first 10 minutes of the game. Indigenous Rising has finally pulled ahead, coming back from an almost 40-point gap. We have a Rambi as their jammer this time, going up against Spring Roll, who has been, without a doubt, Desi's best jammer here. And they're proving that, getting lead jammer once again. And they're approaching that pack on their first scoring pass on turn number 1, with Rambi about half a track behind them. Oh, wow, this blocker's here doing a great job holding up Spring Roll, not letting them get past, and she decides to just call that jam there rather than risk losing points. That was 2 points to Team Desi and 1 point to Team Indigenous Rising on that very quick jam number 9. Our score is still pretty close here. It's 130 to 128, so Team Desi closed that point gap by 1. Not enough to get them in lead, but they are less than 1 scoring pass away from lead.
Yeah, you know, as we love to say in the announcer game, it's anybody's game. Bad Habit Barbie wearing that star for Team Indigenous Rising, as Kajam for Team Desi. And as Kajam finds space in the outside lane and picks up lead, Barbie going from the inside to the outside, just enough to get through, but runs right into the pivot. So that pivot, number 150, Amper Slam, slowing Barbie down, allows time for the other blockers to roll on up and reform. Barbie recycled back as Kajam now on a scoring pass, also getting shut down by Indigenous Rising blockers, knocked to the outside. In the meantime, Fuzzkill has taken a star pass, is now jamming for Indigenous Rising. As Kajam through and picks up 4, and we have another lead change. Lead change, second lead change of the
Team
second
Desi
half.
pulled ahead there, only 2 jams in second place there. Our current score is 130 to 132 with only about a quarter of the game left. And that is the 132 in favor of Team Desi. Looks like we have a team timeout right now being called by Team Desi here, probably trying to make sure they know how to get that score gap even wider so they don't have another lead change. But Indigenous Rising looks like they're almost ready to go with blockers and jammers out on the track. That's number 7 there, Smack Mamba, lining up for Indigenous Rising. Once this team timeout comes to an end, I want to give a quick shout out here to Radical Wheels, which is a thoughtful trans-owned skate company that makes quality wheels and gives back to the community with each sale. From now through June, each purchase made helps raise funds for the Trevor Project, so don't forget to check out Radical Wheels. And there's that whistle that signifies the end of our team timeout. We have All Smite jamming for Team Desi. And then they're going up against Smack Mamba. We got our pack very close to the jam line this time, squeezing back on these jammers because these are 2 fast ones. You do not want to give them enough speed to juke around. Split pack here. Smack Mamba pushing these blockers out to the front over that pivot line. And All Smite here fighting behind a tripod at the back of the pack. These guys are doing a great job staying on these jammers, reforming faster than they can break them apart to get through. But Smack Mamba makes it through anyways. That is lead jammer going for Indigenous Rising, but All Smite is right behind them. The two jammers are about a quarter track apart as they both approach the first scoring pass. Smack Mamba makes it through there, picking up points and then calling that jam before that All Smite can catch up. That is a full 4-point pass for Indigenous Rising and 0 points for Team Desi, meaning we have another lead change. Indigenous Rising is back in the lead with 134 points to Team Desi's 132. Only a quarter of the game left. This is an incredibly close game. All right, and then we're off for jam number 12. We have Quake going up against Whiskey Throttle for Team Desi. And the two jammers come out of the pack practically neck and neck. That's a lead jammer going for Indigenous Rising with Quake. Unfortunately, Whiskey Throttle does take a spill there and loses about half a track on Quake as they enter the first scoring pass. Very fast pack here. Quake pushing them through turn number 3 and into turn 4, and then calling that jam caught on the outside line. That's 2 points going for Indigenous Rising and 0 points going for Team Desi.
Shout out to our sponsors, Aloha Skates, Roller Derby Athletics, and Create and Skate Factory. Thank you so much for your support of the No Borders Roller Derby tournament.
Yes, we cannot do these games without the support from our amazing sponsors.
And here we go. We are back at it. Jam number 13. Ramby with the star for Team Indigenous Rising. Spring Roll for Team Desi. Spring Roll out first, has picked up lead. Ramby, though, not to be left out. Oh, Ramby picks up a penalty going to the penalty box. That means we have a power jam. Power jam for Spring Roll, and that is dangerous, folks. Spring Roll able to put up a lot of points. I believe earlier this game did put up a 22-point jam. Game now tied. Oh, I love a tie score, even though it's only going to last for about 4 to 7 seconds. And there it is, gone. Spring Roll putting up 4 more points. That's a lead change. Lead change, lead change. Lead change. Ramby now back on the track. Gonna push forward. Looking to get through. Oh, man. Nice chase down there by Nikki. Nikki gonna slowed it down Ramby, and Ramby getting there, but not quite in time as Spring Roll calls it off, puts 4 more points up on that scoreboard. 12-point jam. 1 point picked up there at the very end. Thank you to our officials for keeping track of everything, making sure it all stays accurate. And score 144 to 137, just 7 points.
Yes, we have Azka Jam going for Team Desi, going up against Smack Mamba for Indigenous Rising. Ooh, Azka Jam tries to make it on that inside line, but gets hit out and run back. Smack Mamba there fighting out the front of the pack, jukes to the inside, takes a spill, but gets up and keeps going. That is a lead jammer going for Indigenous Rising. Azka Jam still stuck at the back of the pack here, going for that inside line again, but gets hit out and run back. Smack Mamba has now approached the pack on the first scoring pass, has 1 more blocker to pass. They do it successfully with a fun spin there. That is a 4 points going for Indigenous Rising, and they're coming around on their second scoring pass, approaching the pack on turn 2 as Azka Jam makes it out of their initial pass. Smack Mamba is through the pack again and calls that jam there before Azka Jam can approach on their first scoring pass. So that was 0 points to Team Desi and 8 points to Indigenous Rising, and that means that we have another lead switch. Indigenous Rising is back in the lead, 145 to 144, and only a little over 10 minutes left in the game. This has been one of the closest games I've ever seen, with this score flopping almost every single jam. You don't want to miss a second of this game.
That's right, it's super exciting, and back on the track to add to that excitement, All Smite wearing that star for Team Desi. Bad Habit Barbie with the beautiful purple hair wearing the star for Team Indigenous Rising. All Smite got out so quickly and now through for 4 points. Team Indigenous Rising is down a blocker, one in the penalty box. 4 points going up. That means we've had a lead change. Lead change once again. Oh, and I do believe, yes, we had a star pass to Thor's slammer, but Thor picking up a penalty, so is now in the penalty box as a jammer. That means it's a power jam. Power jam. Power jam for All Smite, who's putting 4 more points, 12 points so far here in jam number 15. Everybody chilling there in the second straightaway, and as All Smite gets to the pack, they start moving, and Smite is through 4 more, 16 so far on the jam. Still about 40 seconds left as Thor is on the track, made the initial pass. So gonna put on the pressure. All Smite at 20. So a huge 20-point jam for All Smite and Team Desi, taking that score to 164 to 145, and Team Indigenous Rising wisely taking a timeout. Perfect time to just take a pause, reset.
Yes, gotta talk strategy here, because they just got a significant lead on them. So Indigenous Rising here is calling a timeout to try to figure out how they close that lead sometime in the next 9 minutes of the game. So our current score is Indigenous Rising 145 to Team Desi 164. So still a close game. Could still go either way, because as we just saw, we've seen 20-point jams happening pretty frequently in here. So they'll just have to make sure they put their best foot forward here and best jammer out on the track to try to get some of these points.
Shout out to some of our sponsors. 187 Killer Pads, worn by the most pros in the world. If you skate, you know why.
Yes.
And Arizona Roller Derby's 5th annual invitational tournament, Cactus Cup, is April 18 to 20 in Mesa, Arizona. Find out more at ArizonaRollerDerby.com and at Cactus Cup Tournament on the socials. So here we go. We are getting ready for jam number 16.
Yes, and Indigenous Rising definitely is putting their best jammers forward, because they got number 27, Quake, here. And Team Desi has Whiskey Throttle. And Quake really is doing a great job. They're getting a quick lead jammer coming out of the pack over that pivot line. Whiskey Throttle still fighting here between turns 1 and 2 as Quake comes back and fights that back of that pack. Whiskey Throttle makes it through the pack, finishing their initial pass right as Quake makes it past 2 of those blockers there. Unfortunately, the pack catches up and reforms on them, but they are through that, and they decide to call that jam there as soon as they make it through. That is at 4 points for Indigenous Rising and 0 points for Team Desi, that jam being called. The further jammer makes it into the pack on their scoring pass there. Team Desi is still in the lead, but Indigenous Rising has gained on them by 4 points. So we currently only have a 15-point score gap and 8 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game here.
Still plenty of time. Let's see what happens. Ramby back on the track for Team Indigenous Rising. Spring roll for Team Desi. Spring roll, I mean, look, spring roll is just the best at the spin move, right? Spring roll spinning around, getting out of the pack, picks up lead. A beautiful star pass, though, to Fuzzkill, who is able to get out quickly, put on the pressure, and hold Spring Roll to just 4 points in that last jam. Score 149 to 168.
All right, we have number 16. That's Aska Jam going out on the line for Team Desi, going up against Smack Mamba, who is jamming for Indigenous Rising. The two jammers both back up to get some running speed through the pack there. It is successful for Aska Jam, who gets the lead jammer for Team Desi. But Smack Mamba makes it out, only a quarter track behind them. The two jammers really moving as they race for that first scoring pass. Ooh, Aska Jam takes a fall, tries to call that jam. They start calling it off way before Smack Mamba makes it into the pack, but those referees wait to call the jam off. They decide not to call the jam off. Instead, they're giving them a penalty. So we now have a power jam in favor of Indigenous Rising. Smack Mamba is the only jammer on the track. They're fighting the pack in between turns 2 and 3, really riding out this long side here, but that tripod is moving along with them, not letting them make it through. Oh, getting hit out and run back on the inside of turn number 3 several times. Smack Mamba cannot make it through this pack. Can they make it through before the power gem ends? We will find out. It looks like they passed that star off, so we have a new jammer for Indigenous Rising. That is 325. That's Marzi. Marzi has been the queen of star passes so far. Taken like 4 or 5 of them so far in the game and doing good every time they make it back onto the track, and they have been doing good because they just finished their first scoring pass and got 4 points for their team, Indigenous Rising. Aska Jam has made it out of the box and is still fighting to finish their first scoring pass here as Marzi tries to make it out on their second. The pack has moved all the way back up in between turns 1 and 2 again. Really moving a lot, not a lot of solid tripods, but a lot of recycling here. The blockers working to stay one-on-one in front of these jammers. Pack paused here on turn number 2. Aska Jam at the front of the pack and Marzi at the back of it when the jam is called. Both jammers did get a solid 4 points on that pass there, so that was 8 points for Indigenous Rising and 4 points for Team Desi. 5 minutes left in the game, and our current score is 157 to 172 Team Desi.
Yeah, and looking at the penalties, it looks like Team Indigenous Rising has about 25 penalties, and Team Desi has 19 total penalties. Thor in a little bit of foul trouble with 5, and All Smite out first, picks up lead. Quake, though, right behind, and now past All Smite, who's just going to go ahead and call it off. So a quick 0-0 jam and a beautiful jammer race for all you speed fans. Thank you, Hit Squad, for the next level videos promoting the tournament. Get your own high quality Hit Squad video the next time the crew is in your area.
We got 199, a Whiskey Throttle on the line for Team Desi, going up against Tried and True Ramby, who is here for Indigenous Rising. Two jammers going for that outside together before getting split apart from the blockers. Whiskey Throttle tries to run down that line, is successful and gets lead jammer as Ramby is cycled back. Ramby going for that inside line this time is unsuccessful, getting hit out and run back as as Whiskey Throttle approaches on their first scoring pass. Two jammers are now caught in the pack between turns 1 and 2, and Whiskey goes for that inside line successfully again. That is the first 4 points of the jam going to Team Desi. They're cycling around on their second scoring pass while Ramby is still stuck in the pack on their initial. They're going for that outside line. Oh, is successful with some beautiful footwork there. A lovely toe stop spin has them through the pack, and it looks like Ramby is in the penalty box. So we now have a power gem in favor of Team Desi. Looks like they're going to be expanding their lead here, and with only 3 minutes left in the game, this could be the points that they need, the power gem that they need to win this game, because they are through that pack again. There's another 4 points going to Team Desi here. Their blockers making sure to stop that pack right before turn number 3. They're letting them get back to the pack quicker and faster to pick up those points. They go for the outside line, but unfortunately Whiskey gets hit out and run all the way back to the ending of turn number 2. Cycling, they're coming back. Less than 30 seconds left in this jam. It looks like Ramby is back on the track here, putting that star on. Ramby is still on their initial pass, has not gotten any points yet, and Whiskey Throttle is fighting for their 4th scoring pass here. 10 seconds left in the jam. They call that jam off, not seeing them make it through the pack a full time again, and they get 3 points on that jam. That's a 15 points for Team Desi, and unfortunately 0 points for Indigenous Rising. 2 minutes left in the game. I don't want to speak too soon, but I think Team Desi may have just secured their victory with a couple amazing jams in a row there. Our current score is Indigenous Rising 157 to Team Desi 187, so a 30-point gap now, and only a few jams left in the game here. Indigenous Rising possibly sees the disadvantage they're now at and calls a team timeout to discuss. During this team timeout, I want to let you guys know that you can visit the Fuego merch table for Abolish ICE shirts. All proceeds from these shirts will go to the Immigrant Defense Project, which provides legal advice and training, policy and advocacy, community defense, and more to fight for fairness and justice for all immigrants. If you're not at the tournament, though, you can keep an eye on Glit Lefever's socials for additional ways to purchase. That is Glit, G-L-I-T, Lefever, L-E-F-E-V-E-R. Now we got that out of the way, our team timeout has come to an end. We have a number 700. That is a Spring Roll, an incredible jammer on the line for Team Desi. Their team has taken the lead, so we'll see if they can keep that lead for the rest of the game, but they're going to have a hard time doing it because they are going up against number 27, Quake, who is going for Team Indigenous Rising. Spring Roll has gotten lead once again. They're getting lead almost every time they jam, and they're cycling back around to approach the pack on their first scoring pass in turn number 1, while Quake still fights to make it out of their initial. Quake goes for that inside line. They got one more blocker to face, and they do that successfully, making it out of the pack at the end of turn number 2 and cycling around on their first scoring pass to meet Quake, who is just making it out of theirs. They do so, and they try to call that jam there, but they get sent to the penalty box with a cut. We now have a power jam in favor of Team Indigenous Rising. Quake is the only jammer on the track here, and because Spring Roll was lead, this jam will go the full minute and 11 seconds left. That means unless Team Desi calls a timeout here at the end, this will be the last jam of the game. Oh, Quake getting hit out and into 2 referees, then run back quite a ways. It's a pretty violent jam here. They were not able to make it out on their initial pass there before Spring Roll made it out of their penalty, and Spring Roll's out of the box and through that pack. That's the first 4 points of the jam going to Spring Roll. 30 seconds left in this jam. How many points can they get? Quake takes that star off, makes it through the pack, then puts that star back on, finishing their first scoring pass right as Spring Roll makes it out on their second. The 2 jammers are pretty much neck and neck here as they approach on their respective third and second scoring passes. 10 seconds left in the jam. Can either of these jammers make it through again before the game is over? We will see. Does not look like it. They're both slowing down here, then getting hit out on that inside line, and the jam ends. That was 6 points to Team Indigenous Rising and 10 points to Team Desi. 12 points to Team Desi. And it looks like they did call that official review there. That was Indigenous Rising. They had no more timeouts, so they called an official review to make sure they were going to get that final jam in the game. In a minute here, these referees will let us know what this official review was about. I'm pretty sure they were just calling it to make sure they got that last jam since they were out of timeouts to call, but one of the referees will pull up with the microphone here in a minute and let us know what this official review is about.
And those of you in the chat who were asking about the bench coaches, you totally called it right. That is the Bonnie Thunders out there chatting it up, representing Team Indigenous Rising, OMG, chatting with the Team Indigenous Rising skaters who are still at the bench.
Yes.
So it looks like there is some conversation going, and perhaps they are seeking a review. So they'll chat it out.
Yes.
And like Pinky said, when we know
Yes.
something, we will let you know. We don't need to talk. We'll just let it be for a minute.
Team Indigenous Rising has requested a forearm penalty on the Team Desi jammer.
And when we're, for just a note, like as you're moving forward, the officials prefer to be called officials rather than referees.
Oh.
So we say officials for everybody, like they're all officials.
Oh.
Skating and non-skating officials.
Okay. I go. Forgot I plugged that back in.
You caught it quick.
I normally go.
The officials observed that it was legal gameplay, therefore no penalty, therefore they do not retain their official review.
All right, so no change is going to occur with just moments left here in the game. Score 199 to 163. We're gonna get one more jam. And there it is. Allsmite finding the inside lane with just enough space to get through and pick up lead. Smack Mamba out of the pack, putting that pressure on. Oh, nice blocking attempt there by Bams, but not quite enough to stop Allsmite, who is through for 4, calls it off just after breaking that 200-point mark. So we have a final score, 203 to 163 here in the No Borders tournament. Team Indigenous Rising versus Team Desi. Super fun game. Thanks, folks, to everybody who is here with us on the chat and in person. We're so glad you could be here for this one. It was a fun one. So we're gonna say thanks again for being with us. Stick around for the next game, which will be Team Black Diaspora against Salam, starting at noon Pacific time. So that's about 35 minutes from now. If you don't like to do time zone math, just know it's 35 minutes. And we will see you back then. I am Loquita Bonita.
And I am Pinky Crusher. Can't wait to catch you guys at the next game.
Yay, thanks, y'all.
Hey folks, did you know that your head is not normal? No one's is. If your helmet size is a small, but your teammate's size is an extra large, wearing the same helmet shell doesn't just look kind of funny. The functionality of the EPS foam and how it disperses impact energy is compromised.
The 888 certified Sweat Saver comes in better shell size options than our leading competitor,
giving you the highest level of protection upon impact. Try for yourself. We've got you.